Welcome to episode 265 of the Grip Strip Podcast, the Rules Are Rules edition of the Grip Strip Podcast. My name is Philip Matthew, I'm your host, and as always, I'm with the iRacing Indy 500 champion, computer genius, a gentleman and a scholar. His name is Josh Fine. What's going on, brother?
Doing great, Phil. Of course, glad to be back for another week. Of course, we have a lot to talk about with Busch Series returning to Rockingham, and of course, it's Talladega week, and we know who's back now. Tate Fogleman, of course, as always.
Yeah, with some of the crazy driving that we've seen in recent weeks, and some of the nonsense that's been going on in the NASCAR world. Someone who won in dramatic fashion, spinning across the line, wrecked in a wrecked truck. Tate Fogleman, once upon a time at Talladega, the algorithm is back, and it's funny, I should have mentioned this earlier, but I'll do it live because we do it live. We'll write it down, we'll do it live. I think we should do a Cletus McFarland algorithm thing in terms of where we think he'll finish, if he'll finish, and if he does, where he'll finish. Because I've become a fan of his after Daytona, and I've gone down that rabbit hole a bit with his channel and stuff. So I'm hoping he gets a good run. That 30 team that he's driving for is a good team, the Rhett Jones team. So he has a good piece. Hopefully he can qualify well. He got plenty of information and intel from one of the best to ever do it, Josh's favorite driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr. So, and he got Dale Jr. to drive the Mike Skinner knockoff that they were calling the Dale truck, which had twin turb skis, and scared the shit out of Dale Jr., at least on the first run, but on the second run he kept it flat. So, and did one of the best burnouts I've seen in recent memory. So, we'll get everything that happened at Rockingham. Sammy Smith taking the win after Jesse Love got DQ'd. The issues with Catherine Legg's transition to stock car racing, and the online abuse that she's receiving, that they could have probably saved for Miss Hummer, but never bothered to use or do for all those years. Tyler Ankrum, 4.5 years since his last truck win, gets a win, gives McAnally another truck in the playoff. Definitely wasn't a dominant truck that day on that Friday, but guy came through. Plenty of news that came through in the last few days in the NASCAR world, so we'll go over that as well. Oscar Piastri getting another victory in Formula One over Fish Lips in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. The fact that Fish Lips didn't even bother to make turn one and held a position because F1 doesn't bother to hold Fish Lips accountable for his driving standards. Even with the 5-second penalty, Max Verstappen finished just under 3 seconds behind him. So in the end, though, Oscar Piastri gets the victory, so that's what matters. And takes the points lead. It's his 5th win. Yeah, so there you go. 5th win of his career. Didn't know he'd won. What is it? So this is his 3rd win this year. Okay, so he had 2 wins last year, and this is his 3rd win in 2025. McLaren has won 4 out of the 5 races. Fishlips has finished second in 2 and won 1. Norris has won once, finished second in 2, and then finished third at Bahrain. Charles Leclerc, rounded out the podium there. We'll talk about the Sim Racing Enduro at Apex 1 on Assetto Corsa Competizione with Nunzio, one of the guys that works there, one of the fastest guys, probably the fastest guy. I just had to hold on for dear life, and I did. So we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about what Jacksonville and San Francisco are going to do in this draft. A transitional time for both franchises, so key to go and hit on this pick. Jacksonville up there for some of the more intriguing options, and then the Niners looking for a difference maker at 11. We will do a short and sweet roundup. World Endurance Championship, F2 and F1 Academy. The WRC will be back. MotoGP Moto 2 will be at Jerez, and then NHRA comes back for their second 4-wide race of the month. Tony trying to make 3 consecutive finals and win a second race in a row. Josh and I will preview the Cup and Xfinity races at Talladega, make our picks, and Tate Fogelman algorithm reappears. There's also the bonus Cletus McFarland thing, which is about the only thing that's interesting about that ARCA race, because it's ARCA. So hopefully he can go out there and get a top 10 finish at least. It'd be nice. It'll be the only, because you're gonna have Jamie Little calling the race, so you're gonna have to have it on mute, because she sucks. Josh will let us know all things going on iRacing in the sim segment, and then we'll call it a day. So we will bring it to the first Xfinity race at Rockingham in many years. The North Carolina Education Lottery 250 on Saturday of Easter weekend. The race results: Jesse Love crossed the line in first at the end of the race, but after the race itself, and after the points or after the post-race inspection, this thing's not uploading, so that's great. That is positive. Alrighty, so we're gonna have to change that up. Jesse Love had won the race on Saturday. Everything is spazzing out on this page. I think that might be part of it. All right, let's try that again. Jesse Love had one of the fastest cars the whole entire race, qualified well, and was able to make the most of the opportunity until he wasn't. Truck arm infraction left Jesse Love tailback. He had led 53 laps, so the second most laps of anybody in the race. But Sammy Smith, a few weeks after destroying Taylor Gray at Martinsville and getting fined $50,000, comes through with a victory. What is his third win of his career? Parker Retzloff started second, finished second in stage 1, and ended up second in the race. So best result ever for Alpha Prime Racing. Harrison Burton from 29th to 3rd at a track that his dad ran well at, and his uncle Ward won his first Busch and Cup race. Brennan Poole making 2 cars for Alpha Prime in the top 5. Taylor Gray was 5th. Hank Hill, Josh Williams, Jeb Burton. So throwing it back, so both Burton brothers or both Burton family members top 10. An Xfinity race at Rockingham. Daniel Dye, another car from outside the top 20, finishing in top 10, and then Jeremy Clements. Dean Thompson stayed out after pitting a little early, got a stage win, and then Nick Sanchez won stage 1, led 52 laps, but ended up wrecked. So unfortunate for him. He was taken on that late race incident. One of the late race incidents that took place. Yeah, I mean, we had other guys that had moments. Buckshot Jones. You had Carson Kvapil led 47 laps. Ryan Siegel had 77 laps, and it looked like for a decent amount of time that he might have a chance to get that elusive first win, but they were running on a fuel strategy that was untenable. D Burrito got points in both stages. So, I mean, there was more leaders, there was more lead changes, but a lot of destruction that took place. There in that race, 14 cautions for 83 laps. Casey Kane making his return to NASCAR, finished 14th, just behind pole sitter Connor Zilisch. So those are 2 other drivers there. We'll talk about Sawalich later. Jess and Allgaier, a rare bad, just non-competitive race for the defending series champion, finishing 21st, 2 laps down. Eckes was buried. He got involved in one of them wrecks. Jesse Love got DQ'd. And Justin Bonsignor also got DQ'd for, I think, a lug nut issue, but then he had hit everything but the lottery. So it was a really bad day for him, the former 4-time modified champ. But Jesse Love had raced up front for a good amount of that race, Josh. Sammy Smith was competitive for somebody who really isn't known for being competitive. Didn't get stage points because of the way strategies went, but when it came down to it on that final restart, he made a good restart, and little did he know that by finishing behind Jesse Love, he ended up winning his first race of 2025, and for all intents and purposes, has locked himself into the Xfinity playoffs.
Yeah, he's locked himself into the Xfinity playoffs, and it's interesting how it played out because a couple weeks ago at Martinsville, we were talking about how Sammy Smith threw away a good chance at a win by trying to spin out Taylor Gray there in turn 3, but comes out here and finishes in second here at Rockingham, but because of the penalty, comes out after all of that as the winner. So definitely one interesting way to win a race there, and it's kind of ironic how that all played out there for him. But yeah, now he's a race winner, and as long as he remains competitive and everything, probably should expect him to be at the playoff contention at the end of the regular season. So he'll at least be that. We'll have to see whether the rest of the year he's able to put something together to be competitive throughout the rest of the playoffs, because that is up for debate. I think whether he's good enough to make it past the first or even the second round of the playoffs. So for Xfinity, so we'll see how that goes. But as far as that race goes. He ends up the winner. Yeah, Jesse Love on the other hand, I think ran a really good race. Of course, a lot of that came down to strategy at the end. It was looking like Ryan Sieg might end up being the winner for a bit, but then cautions come out at the very end, and then people started running out of gas, and that put a lot of things into question. That opened the door for Jesse Love there. But you saw him, some of the ways that he was driving throughout the race, using the tools, kind of doing old school racing style there with getting up to the left rear quarter panel and getting a guy loose, getting him sideways. There was a highlight, I think, from stage 1 where got right up behind Nick Sanchez coming off of turn 2 there at Rockingham, and see Nick Sanchez get way sideways off that corner, and Jesse Love went there, took the lead. So definitely showing he understands at least how to race the old kind of way with how we see cars manipulate the air to get a driver loose and make a move on him, make him force him into a mistake. So definitely think he's got a lot of poise on his shoulders. So even if he doesn't win this race, he'll definitely win more throughout the season and all of that. So it was definitely an interesting race throughout it. That event at Rockingham, of course, Xfinity always puts on good races, I think. And of course, even with the repave, there was definitely a lot of action throughout the day for Rockingham, and definitely think that right now, as it is right now, I think with the event set up, I think Xfinity and Truck should definitely have their own weekend at Rockingham. I think the crowd size is right for them, with sellout crowd, I think, on both days, and along with ARCA as well. So that people showed up to. So right now, people also say that Cup shouldn't be in that because of the way the Cup car races, but I think also just because the facility might not be ready for that. So definitely think that was a good Xfinity race there throughout that day, and glad that track was able to survive all that long for 20 years, and it's back, and hopefully back for many years to come and all of that. So it was definitely a fairly entertaining Saturday there at Rockingham.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with them. I don't think Cup is ever coming back there, but having this weekend, doing it on the Easter weekend, giving a break to the Cup teams, and having that a non companion weekend is nice. It's something that the trucks and Xfinity should do more of, and considering the fact that the TV providers are not bothering to show up to the racetrack anymore, I think it's probably a good idea to have more standalones, for identity's sake, for these Xfinity regulars to actually show what they're capable of, and if they actually have a business driving a Cup car. Even with all the limitations and Cup guys only being able to do 5 races and the like. So I move to the points here. Allgaier, even with the terrible run, it has an 87-point lead on Sam Mayer, and has increased his lead to 100 over Austin Hill. Jesse Love was about to gain a bunch of ground, but lost all that with the DQ. It's very close between Jesse Love, Carson Groppel, Bruckshot Jones, Connor Zilich, Sammy Smith, Ryan Sieg. There's only 11 points separating those 6 drivers, so it's very competitive amongst that group here, and they're going to be running a couple there. It's going to have a very unique set of races here coming up for these Xfinity teams. Sheldon Creed has had some rough outings in recent weeks, so Hill has the playoff points lead. Allgaier's a regular season points leader. You have 6 drivers that have a win that are regulars right now. So Mayer, Quapple, Creed. Creed is plus 14. Jeb Burton is plus 11. Harrison Burton's plus 3 over Daniel Dye. Then Taylor Gray's minus 20 off the cut. Dean Thompson minus 23. And Christian Eckes minus 25 off the cut. And that's also Nick Sanchez is also minus 25 off the cut. So that those are the guys that are in the mix. Parker Retzlaff, of course, he missed a race, but I'm not sure how that all works. If he was to win a race, how that would all work out. But now he's moved himself up to 22nd in the point standings, point behind Almirola, and he's only 15 points behind his teammate Brennan Poole. So that's to miss a race and be only that much behind your teammate who's made every race. Got to give them credit after the recovery after what was a terrible weekend at COTA for them. We talked about the points, but I think the biggest story outside of the DQ of Jesse Love and them cheaters at RCR was what happened with Catherine Legg. Now, Catherine Legg was driving for Jordan Anderson, announced I think a 12-race deal or so with a combination of Jordan Anderson Racing and Xfinity, and then the Live Fast 78 in Cup. I think all those Cup races were on on road courses. And then she was going to do a majority oval schedule in the Xfinity series. So the first opportunity for that was going to be at Rockingham. She was unable to make the race due to the point setup that exists in the Xfinity series, where the owner points don't fit or work out for her to go and make the show, even though she was faster than 5 cars. I think you have to be in the top 32 to guarantee yourself. Otherwise, then you're in the points. She'll be running the next few races, actually. So she'll be running next 5 Xfinity races before she goes and drives a Cup car. Yeah, all the Cup races. She'll do 4 out of the 5 Cup races that she's going to do are going to be on road courses, and then she'll run Richmond. All right, so whole point of that was to go and get into the fact that Catherine Legg was a DNQ with the Jordan Anderson 32, but was able to make an opportunity or have an opportunity open up with Joey Gase's team that made the show, because they do have owners points, because they've run every race. So I guess that's part of why they're 38th in owners points. It's crazy. And they've run every race, and that's really what it is. So they're behind Junior Motorsports number 9, that's only run twice, and the Sam Hunt 24, that's run 5 times. But the 53 car made the show, while the 32 didn't. So it shows how goofy the points are. It goes back even to what was going on back in the day with point swaps and the like. But she was running out there. Was she running fast? No. Was she a complete chicane and a disaster? No. Is she trying to learn and it's not an ideal circumstance? Yes. She's an accomplished racing driver who has won in Toyota Atlantics back in the day, first woman to win a Toyota Atlantic race. She won in IMSA for years in GT competition, has driven, IndyCar, Champ Car, ran Indianapolis 500, multiple Indy 500s. She's a very capable racing driver. And the scrutiny that she has received, fairly or unfairly, I mean, you had an inbred dipshit cause a huge wreck like 5 laps into the ARCA 200, and she was taken out in that. Who probably would be working for, segments of this population, but otherwise, has no business driving a race car. Guy looks like he goes and bangs a vacuum cleaner, and then you're going to tell me that he's allowed to drive an ARCA car, but then that tells you they're going to talk about Katherine Legg's talent and ability, but then they go and let somebody like that douchebag Dennison drive around. I mean, hell, you're having YouTube guys who drag race, albeit I truly respect and find Cletus McFarlane entertaining. He had never driven an oval other than driving around his track in a Ford Crown Vic before, and you're approving him, but you're gonna go and because he's a dude and he's cool, it's okay. I mean, granted, what's-her-face ran into him twice, so that also didn't help in that race because if you want to go and talk about scrutiny, somebody who who deserves that kind of scrutiny is, I'm forgetting what the hell her name is.
Amber Balcian.
Amber Balcaen, yeah. Amber Balcaen, who has driven in good equipment for a good amount of her career and has nothing to show for it. Same as Tony Breidinger. While Katherine Legg, the Jordan Anderson stuff, we'll say is a midfield vehicle. They're not as good now because they let go. I think with Parker Etzloff and Jeb Burton, they were a much better team than what they are now with Blaine Perkins, who's just a ride buyer. Jeb Burton is mid, so you're not a great team. That's a mid-level team. Driving a Joey Gase vehicle, it's basically, it's a dumpster fire on wheels. So she was in an even worse car than what she was already in, with little to no experience, and then trying to go around there and race. And then she gets run through like she wasn't there by William Sawalch, who's proven over his career that he has basically no racing ability when he actually has to race and make an actual decision on a racetrack. When you have the fastest vehicle and drive away from everybody like he did in ARCA, it's easy. When you actually have to race somebody, he's 24th in points. Parker Etzloff is right there with him and he missed a race. And William Sawalch has daddy's money and he's in a Joe Gibbs racing car. Everyone's shitting on Katherine Legg for being in the way. She's this, that, and the other. Where was this when Miss Hummer was around wasting his seat? She actually was in good equipment for a decent amount of her career. You can make an argument later on in the time at Stewart-Haas because they started going downhill. But she sucked her whole entire Cup career. She never got a top 5. Yet they covered her like she was something special. She drove around in an Indy car for years. She won one race and ran well at Indy, which, I mean, that's granted, if you're going to run well anywhere, that's probably a good place to do it. She ran well at Indy, I think, 3-4 times. Okay. Can you tell me anything else she did after that? Other than being a sword swallower? No. So, where like, Catherine Legg never won an IndyCar race, but she never was really in the best equipment. We're in the same kind of thing. When she's been given top tier equipment, she's been able to win and be competitive. Is she deserving of that right now, starting her NASCAR career? No. That's the same thing it was for Danica, but she goes and gets freaking Blow Daddy and this sponsor and that sponsor, Nature's Bakery and Tax Act and Aspen Dental and all these damn sponsors that want to sponsor her. Because it's amazing to me how people are. It shouldn't amaze me considering how toxic society is as a whole, and how so many people have become brave because of, mongoloids in positions of power and douchebag wannabe strong and people who aren't strong at all, bullying others, going and making, race sexist, race, like nationalistic comment. I mean, where are we at? It's unnecessary. And it reminds me a lot of what Shauna Robinson went through back, a couple decades ago, when she had actually proven herself in the Dash Series and ran solid and was able to run competitively. Yet you had, maggot moron type more dipshits like Mike Wallace trying to kill her because she had qualified on pole at Atlanta in 1994, and his whole entire goal at the start of the race was to send her into the wall. Like, that's the kind of stupid stuff that we're dealing with. 30 years ago. It was 30 years ago. We have not progressed as a society. It's almost like we've regressed as a society, especially in motorsport, when this kind of stuff happens. And to me, Catherine Legg is going to get way more unwanted attention for anything that she does the rest of this season in a stock car. And whether that's good, bad, or indifferent is one thing. I respect her because she actually has respect for the sport, and she actually is a racing driver. She isn't a publicity stunt. She isn't someone who uses looks. She's not someone who does other activities to get through, like Miss Hummer did, or are just, Instagram famous, like Breidinger or Balkan. She actually can drive. But, it's, you have to take also the account of what Sawalich is and what he's done and what he's doing right now in Joe Gibbs Racing Car. You have to blame that guy. Okay, could she have moved up? Maybe. Where's a spotter? Nick Sanchez passed her clean. Nick Sanchez, I think it was Nick Sanchez. It's like the car before Sawalich passed her clean. So there was room, a car's width there. He went and plowed right into her doggy style. Like, come on, man. It's not. I'm not a professional racing driver. I'll tell you that. That's no problem. Josh is a really good sim racing driver, and he's got regular experience too now, driving go-karts and stuff. But I've watched racing most of my life. I think it's called a brake pedal and waiting until the next corner. I don't know. I've watched my racing since I was like 6-7 years old, and I'm 40. I'm a man. I'm 40. I think I've driven vehicles for more than half my life. If I'm seeing something that may not be working right in terms of where things are going, you use a brake, or you yield, or you use common sense. When you're a daddy's money douchebag, you run right through somebody and destroy a race car. That's my rant over on the whole Catherine Legg situation, on how embarrassing it is. The way society is as a whole, but, where we're going, especially about what she has done when she has, 4 starts? 4 or 5 starts in a stock car, I think, or 7. It may be more, like 7 starts ever in a stock car, amongst the top 3 series. It's just ridiculous. And to me, it's disturbing because they want to talk about progress, or is that there's no progress. It's almost like NASCAR wants to go like certain other people and bring it back to 1482. Like, it's not even where NASCAR wasn't even a thing until 1950. They wanted it to be 1950 again. It's like, it's not going to be 1950 again. You have 2 dumbasses at the top that have taken the sport down a rabbit hole where it's not going back. You have Jim France, who basically signed off on a GT3 Cup car as a Cup car, and you have the Xfinity product, which is really good, but you have the definite haves and have-nots because of the budgets that exist amongst those big teams relative to the small teams. The Truck Series is half dead, and the ARCA Series is a complete joke. So this is where we're at. Josh, what were your thoughts on everything that's gone on with Catherine Legg? And we'll move on to the Truck Series.
Yeah, no, I mean, to me, it goes back to, the road racing series, like what, often saying, like, the faster car must pass cleanly. Like, we see it in, obviously let's think of William Swalich in a GTP car and Catherine Legg in a GT3 or GT Daytona car, right? Well, he would have to, be able to find a way around her without getting into her, right? And that's supposed to be the rule in sports car racing. And I think that rule also applies just in all of racing. Doesn't matter, and you could argue maybe could have given half a lane higher and all that, but Nick Sanchez had no problem getting around her, and William Swalich went and ran her right over. So it's your faster's car responsibility to pass the slower car cleanly, and he wasn't able to do that there, and then not only ruined their race, but ruined Casey Kane's race there. So definitely caused that to happen there. But on the other hand, so that's not really her fault. But on the other hand, I mean, she's off. I mean, in a bad car nonetheless. But I mean, off the pace and all that. So I mean, it's a tough deal because she doesn't have the testing sessions to get up to speed, and so these races are basically a test session for her. And I mean, maybe you can, okay, fair point, like she's using these as a glorified test session to get experience in there, but I mean, how else are you supposed to get experience and all that? And I mean, to that question, okay, well, did other people who are similar levels, did they get experience? Like, did all the sports car drivers that came up into Cup to race at Coda or Watkins Glen, like Jordan Taylor did, who's also an IMSA driver, Kobayashi, all those guys. I mean, Kimi, Marco Andretti in the Truck Series and in the Xfinity Series, did they all get? I mean, Connor Daly. I mean, all those guys. I mean, the testing has been pretty limited in NASCAR for years, and really the only way you can get in is through the simulator, I think, really, and then you only have 20 minutes of track time to get time on there. So, could she get more experience? I mean, obviously, the only place really you can do it is in ARCA, I think, but other than that, there's not really a whole lot of track time to get to really get a feel for these cars. So it's a tough position to be in, and everything, to have time to be able to get up to speed and have the pace, so she's not getting run over like that. So we'll see how that goes. But of course, the other thing is, she'll be at Talladega this weekend in the 32 car. But I mean, if you want to put her on the lower tier for now, I mean, she's not even the worst one if we're even going to go that way, because Jesse Iwuji's in the series this week, and who I mean, if it was any other track, he'd really be in the damn way. Of course, Talladega, you can probably fake it till you make it for a little bit there, until he gets put into a situation, if he's even in a car that can hold station there. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, she should be able to at least hold her line and everything, be in the draft and hang around, and hopefully get a good finish out of it. But I mean, the Jordan Anderson cars aren't that bad on super speedways. We saw Jeb Burton win in that car, so, or on that team, so not that bad of a ride. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And her future endeavors in there, she doesn't really deserve a lot of hate, I mean, that she's getting, of course. But yeah, I mean, I guess it is what it is there. So hopefully we can move on from it, and hopefully NASCAR can be more consistent in the process to being able to get people, approve people for races. Everybody has different skill level. Everybody, not everybody can just hop in a car and get time. I mean, if Kyle Larson running the Indy 500 again, has to go through all these test programs to even have an opportunity to qualify for the Indy 500, which I think Catherine Legg will be in as well. Why can't they have some similar process there to get people approved on the NASCAR side? So that's what I think. There's just a lot that needs to be done on NASCAR's end to ensure fairness for everybody, and to ensure that everybody has a chance to to race and all that. So that's what I think there. And hopefully the only way to get better from it is to just not stay out of the way, but to put up respectable finishes, and continue to make rounds and get better. So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, well said, man. We just have to be better as people, and stop taking cues from hate. Taking cues from people who are not good people. Not feeling emboldened to sit behind an emoji and being whatever, John or Jane Doe, bunch of numbers, and saying awful stuff. It's just pathetic, and it's a sad commentary on our society. The Truck Series ran at Rockingham on Friday. The Black's Tire 200, the race there. There was only 5 cautions, so 3 for cause. And 1 big incident, 2 red flags. Race took just under 2 hours. even with all the red flags. 11 lead changes amongst 9 drivers. So that was go through this, and he had Corey Heim, of course. He had another race where he leads a lot of laps, got a top 10. Lane Riggs won both stages, but fell back late in the race due to the fuel mileage situation. Corey Heim was caught out with that. 7 trucks finished on the lead lap, and Tyler Ankrum broke a 130 race winless streak to come through and win his first or second career Truck Series race, holding off pole sitter Jake Garcia, who had a great day, led 43 laps, great stage points for the ThorSport driver. Daniel Hemrick was up there late, finished third. Raja Caruth finished fourth after starting 21st. Grant Enfinger led 15 laps, finished fifth. Caden Honeycutt sixth. For Nice, also had a good day stage points wise, led some laps. And then Jack Wood, your final truck on the lead lap. There was a further 6 trucks a lap down: Heim, Mozak, Gio Ruggiero, Lane Riggs, and Andres Perez de Lara. Chandler Smith, who started second in the race, led 23 laps. So the Front Row Motorsports duo led 47 laps, solid stage performances, but end up not really having anything to show for that. The only other truck that got double, or the 2 other trucks got double points in the stages, Tanner Gray, who ended up 28th, and Ty Majeski, who wrecked really hard on stage 3, and they put a hole in the wall, literally, in the process. So, defending series champion has had a rough go of it recently, in his trying to defend his title. Teammate Ben Rhodes also bad day, and mechanical issues. You had Matt Crafton that had issues. So in terms of and then Luke Fenhouse also blew up. So 4 of the 5 ThorSport trucks were nowhere, and then you had the lone representative, Jake Garcia, almost come through and win the race. So it's crazy how racing works. But Tyler Ankrum benefits from fuel mileage, Josh. Breaks a long winless streak, gets himself into the Truck Series playoffs. And considering that they're in race number 7, that's essentially close to halfway through their regular season. So it's a very tight time. I mean, after this Rockingham weekend, oh damn, I actually picked him. Damn. Yep. Okay. That's rare. They're gonna have 6 races in a row here, and 6 weeks. They'll run 6 weeks in a row, and 8 and 9 weeks before they take long period of time off, and only race once in a basically month period in July. So this is they're getting right in the meat of their season right now. Momentum, 7 races in. They have 16 race, or what is it? Yeah, they have 18 races in the regular season. So they actually, they went up to 25 again this year. Didn't notice that. I'm used to them having 23 for so long. So, yeah, and there's going to be this run up here now. This period of the season after this off week is going to be a key portion of who's going to be there and who's going to stand out. So for Tyler Ankrum, Josh, he goes out there, gets that victory, and puts himself in the playoff, at least for now. And it's a good position to be in heading into the second half of the 2025 regular season of the Truck Series.
Yeah, it's definitely a good position there, and of course, yeah, third in the points, and yeah, gets the first win of the season. So, yeah, it's a very, very good position to be in. And I gotta say, I'm not really surprised with the way that this turned out with the fuel mileage finish there, which, with the recent repave and all of that, kind of happening, and going 77 laps of green there to the end, and you only had 3 incidents of caution other than stages. That's not really surprising at all to kind of see how this race and with the repave and all that turn into a fuel mileage race, and that's what the Xfinity was going to end up as too. But yeah, for Ankrum, yeah, it's a huge win. Definitely sets him up for the playoffs, and gives them room to go out and continue to score wins. Of course, for guys like Corey Heim, missed opportunity, led tons of laps, but then just came up short there, and finished lap down to the leaders there. So yeah, for Ankrum, of course, now third in points, so definitely something for him, and for a lot of these guys, first time that they come back to this racetrack in Rockingham. So that's also pretty significant there for him. So yeah, definitely significant there. You also put in, I mean, for you, I mean, with the picks, I mean, you put Raja there, and Raja finished in fifth. So yeah, good picking for you there. I mean, I was a little off there, I think, but yeah, and then for Corey Day was off the lead lap there, so not so much for me, but yeah, for Ankrum, yeah, good weekend there. Started in 16th, so he definitely came up there from midfield to come up and win. So yeah, for Truck Series, I mean, they had a pretty good race there, Rockingham too. So yeah, we'll see going into I think what the next race at Texas, actually. So beginning of the month they'll be racing at Texas Motor Speedway. So not quite up to not quite up to Charlotte yet, because I don't know, I felt like they were at Charlotte, but or they're going to be at Charlotte, but that's not for a while. So yeah, next race at Fort Worth. Although we should mention, the other controversy from this one was the fact that Fox was doing a remote crew for this, which that's pretty asinine considering that they're only an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes away from Charlotte and stuff, and telling me that Fox couldn't get a crew out there to race or to broadcast the show and everything. That's pretty ridiculous to me. So of course, Jamie Little, I mean, she's great recorder, but not so great at being a broadcaster there. So Carson Hocevar took over the broadcast and made it listenable, I guess, for those that watched the race. But yeah, the broadcast itself was pretty abysmal, and I think you can see why when everything's kind of being remote and stuff. And it's interesting to see people or the executives wanting more remote broadcasts. I don't know how can you do that? How can you not be in the booth and call the race? And I remember Dale Jr. mentioning there's like, yeah, they want you to look at the monitors and stuff to call the race and stuff. And it's like, well, you're calling what's already happening because the camera is delayed and all that. Like it's not, there's the camera showing, and then the signal's got to matriculate from the camera to the monitor and all that. And when you see it with your bare eyes, you can call it live as it's happening, watching the from out the window. So it's pretty easy to see why the quality of the broadcast is bad, is because they're not in the booth, they're not even at the racetrack. So it's pretty bad on that end. So definitely room for improvement there, and starts by them finding a different play-by-play person, but then also being at the racetrack. And that's not against Jamie Little. I mean, I know that they want a female broadcaster in there, whatever, and they're giving her that opportunity. But definitely showing that she's not a good fit for it. Not because she's a woman, but because because that's not her field of expertise. There is a play-by-play announcer, so definitely could be improvement there. So that's my takeaway from this.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie Little's god awful. She's been god awful from the first race she did, and nothing has really changed. Her tone or lack of energy, and just not really having any clue. People goof on Vince Welch and how many of the other guys I used to have. I mean, I would goof on Rick Allen, even Adam Alexander. But the difference is Rick Allen actually had personality, maybe over the top, but he had personality. Adam Alexander, same thing. You have people like Alan Bestwick. I think now with the way that they're doing things, where they want you to just sit in a freaking studio and do these races, which both of them were this past weekend, this might give an opportunity to somebody like Alan Bestwick again, if he so chose to go back to calling NASCAR races. You have other guys. Ralph Sheheen, former guest on this show, has called NASCAR. Maybe, but he's calling Trans Am, so I think he's preoccupied with that and the other stuff that goes on with his paper, the Speed Sport News. So, but I mean, it's if you're gonna have somebody that's gonna be that bad, and you're gonna have a driver who I think has maybe done about 4 broadcasts, I think maybe 4 or 5, something, because he's done a couple of them racers only broadcasts. He's done a couple of times in the booth. You're going to tell me somebody who's done 4 or 5 broadcasts is outdoing 2 people that have done TV for decades? That should tell you all you need to know about how bad the broadcast is, when the people that are actually supposed to be there and know what they're doing suck. I mean, MW55, there's multiple problems with him. He should just be done and do us all a favor, so he can go off to his parades and prance around like a fairy. And then, Jamie Little's the Miss Hummer of announcers, and her stupid ponytail should be lopped off by a air gun. And she's okay, but she's nothing special. There's been other female reporters that are way better than her, but she sucks as a lead announcer. And it's not like I'm the only one. It's not a misogynistic. You just heard me talk about Catherine Legg, so it's not a misogynistic take. And I'm not the only one who says this. This is like media members in the sport have said it, that have to go and talk to her every week anyway, or be in the same vicinity of her every week. Say it. People in the sport are saying this. Yet it's trolling. That's what they're about. That's what this network is about in so many ways. This is trolling. You're trolling the fan base. And then what did NASCAR do? They doubled down on it and said, yeah, sure, we'll give Fox another 5 years to go and bury the Truck Series. I mean, granted, the Truck Series buries itself with the product, more or less, and some of the driving standards. But now that driving standard, I think, is moved up to Xfinity. But it's still bad. You have a bad product. The schedule is terrible. And now you have broadcasts that they wanted to shit on ESPN, what they were doing back in the day when they wouldn't even allow them into the track. And at least they were showing up. I mean, you had Mike Massaro sitting outside at a helicopter pad going and doing interviews, but at least he showed up. after they had covered the sport for decades. Yeah, they've covered the sport for 25 years or whatever, and they can't even be bothered to send a crew to the racetrack. It's unacceptable. For the amount of money that is they're paying for it, they can go and send people. When you have exclusive rights to a series, you can send people there. If you're going to go and do an alternative, like some weeks, maybe you don't have, like maybe once or twice in a period, like now you're going to have this 8 out of 9 weeks. If you're going to tell me, and you're going to be on the road, Fox is going to be at the track. So I guess those races they'll have in person. The ones where they're not in person per se, like Charlotte, they don't have no excuse. They're right there,. But I don't know. It's typical. It's typical Fox. What do you expect? They're pathetic. Heim has the points lead, also playoff points lead, 22 over Chandler Smith, 62 over Ankrum, who inserts himself into this. Daniel Hemrick minus 73. Those are the 4 drivers and the regular drivers that have won so far this year. You have Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson, the other winners, and Corey Heim has been in a position to win every race this year. So we'll see if he can hold up. Lane Riggs best in points of a driver that hadn't won. And Ty Majeski, even with the brutal day, he's in that points fight. Jake Garcia having a solid start to the year. You have 15 points separating those 4 drivers from Hemrick, Riggs, Majeski, Garcia, and Finger and Caden Honeycutt. That's the top 9 in points. And those are all pretty competitive, solid trucks there. You have 24 points separating 4th through 9th. So pretty close. Ankrum's got 11 points on Hemrick. So 2 McAnally trucks. You have Chandler Smith for front. Excuse me. And Corey Heim for Tricon. So representation for all 3 manufacturers. Lead team probably for each. The only, I would say, you'd look at Spire with Raja. You'd look at Nice with Caden Honeycutt. Those are the 2 other multi-truck teams that would have somebody probably that could go and get in there. So we'll see how that goes. Stu Ball, who's debating his career choices, is right now on the bump spot. 4 points out of Gio Ruggiero, 6 points out of Ben Rhodes. So we'll see how that goes the rest of the season. Let's move on to the news of the week. Try to hit this as quick as we can. Yeah, Rodney Childers, a couple of weeks after Cheddar Bob Smith left the Spire number 7 team. Rodney Childers leaves, and it's interesting timing now that they're going to be running the next 7 months straight. So he goes and drops out, and probably, for all intents and purposes, is going to wait until the end of the season to see what opens up and what options are there. For Rodney Childers, who's one of the best crew chiefs in the business, a championship winning crew chief, going up through the Gen 6 era. He had a great ability with that Gen 6 car, Gen 5 and Gen 6 cars, and was able to win races with multiple drivers. But of course, Kevin Harvick and him won a lot for a long time. And then it started going off just like Stuart Haas. And then the Gen 7 car came in, and I don't think that Rodney Childers has really figured it out. And to be fair to him, Spire Motorsports is not great. They never have been. They have a lot of money because you have Dan Taurus as a major investor in the team. They're basically Hendrick Light. They go and are a farm system essentially for Hendrick Motorsports with pit road members. They took the whole entire pit crew off the 7 and gave them to Kyle Larson. The 7 car wasn't running great. And it almost makes Corey LaJoie look good. That's how bad they've been. Hocevar is wildly inconsistent when he isn't hitting people or somehow or another finishing top 5. McDowell's been okay. Nothing solid yet unspectacular. That's Michael McDowell's entire effing career. So they're up there kind of in the mix. The 20, that 77 has had moments, of course. The 7's basically done nothing all year. So the crew chief change, better, worse, whatever, going into one of Justin Haley's best tracks, which is Talladega. He's won in 2 of the 3 series there, has had opportunities, ran well in a cup car too. Of course, won at Daytona in a cup car many years ago. So that's something came up there. Curious as to what Rodney Childers will do as he moves forward. The All-Star race, they announced the format, goofy format. They'll have practice and then open All-Star qualifying and then pit crew challenge on Friday. They'll have the heats on Saturday along with the truck race, and then they'll have the open and the All-Star race on Sunday the 18th. Open cars in order of speeds. Competitors take green flag, run 1 lap, full lap at speed, then second lap proceed, maintaining pit road speed, do a 4-tire stop for no fuel. Pit stop is complete. We'll exit pit road and race back to checkered flag. Total time from green flag to checkered flag will determine your qualifying position. Then you have the pit crew with the fastest stop with no penalty during qualifying attempt is the winner of the pit crew challenge. Pit crew challenge results determine order of pit selection. You have also heat race, all laps count, overtime rules in effect, 1 attempt. Inside row and heat 1, outside row heat 2. Opens 100 laps, overtime rules in effect, 1 attempt. Competition break at around lap 40. You'll have the top 2 finishers and then a fan vote. All-Star race, 250 laps, all laps count, overtime rules in effect. Competition break at around lap 100. Optional promoter's caution must be executed prior to lap 220. So prior to lap 220. If a promoter's caution has not been executed and a natural caution occurs after lap 200, the optional caution will no longer be in play. So it has to be done prior to 30 to go. So it wouldn't be a green, white, checkered caution, which they were saying on social media. It is kooky and goofy and unnecessary. Then they made some sort of manufacturer showdown for whatever that is, because nobody cares. It's like they could just do this. This is what they should do. Let them run the damn engines to whatever maximum they can run them at. They're shifting anyway. Let them run them things to 1,000 horsepower with whatever shitty tires Badger will give them. That's the only thing that you change. And run the dang race, have them do a qualifying like they do, have 2 heat races, have an option tire if you want, do 2 new compounds that are softer compounds. Like a super soft and a soft. And that's what you have. That's it. The only things that you're changing for the All-Star race this year are doing R&D tires and letting the teams run engines to whatever maximum they can. You have to keep the tires on the damn car to make it to these certain segments. That's it. You do that, first person that gets to the line under green, wins a $1 in the All-Star race. You'd be fine. Every year NASCAR comes up with new gimmicks. Gimmick after gimmick after gimmick. It's like even with Indy 500, with IndyCar Series, the more gimmicks they bring to qualifying for the Indy 500. The Indy 500 qualifying is unique and organic by itself. Stop adding crap to it. They lost the plot decades ago with this race, the All-Star race, similar to the Clash. They've lost the plot. Keep it the KISS method. Somebody has to tell these douchebags like SOD and Phelps, keep it simple, stupid. We see that most of the fans these days are LCD. You're going to tell me those idiots are going to figure out all this crap that they're talking about for this stupid race? No. It's enough for them they'll be able to find the dang race after in the week or two after that when it'll be on Prime. And they'll have different channels for different races. And you'll need like 6-7 channels to find races, which ironically they complained about that 25 years ago, and that was part of the reason why they left ESPN, TNN, and CBS, TBS. And now we're literally doing that doing the same exact shit, except you have streaming. Okay, instead of having some of them other channels, you have a streaming service and then a bunch of other cable channels. Literally what we had 25 years ago, except worse. But that's beside the point. We had that news, Josh, and what else did I put in there? Yeah, and then the Homestead thing. Yeah, so Homestead, which I think was that wasn't really much of a secret. They moved the race to March this year or whatever. They moved it up so that they could start doing the changes in the infield to make it more fan friendly. They're not going to repave the track, so that's good. But they're going to go and make a bunch of changes, a la like Phoenix, a la, some of these other tracks like Talladega and Kansas and whatever with the infield. And they're going to do that with the championship race in mind, which is what it's going to be. And they are going to alternate that race amongst different tracks, which to me would speak to Vegas finally getting an opportunity to have the finale too, that would actually show logic too. If they had Vegas, who knows, maybe they get really crazy and they decide to have it in Martinsville in 5-degree weather. Maybe Bristol. I don't know. There's few options. Hopefully it's just not one of them plate races. Because then that would just be it's already a destruction derby. We're going to talk about 2 destruction derbies that will take place this weekend, but that would be a whole different level. So yeah, takeaways before we move forward, Josh, on some of those news items and maybe anything else that didn't pick up on?
Yeah, it's surprising to see Rodney Childers leave Spire there, but obviously it hasn't been working out for him, and he wants to go do every other things, and of course, give him time off to go, spend with his family and all that. There, All Star Race. I think the other thing is like there was discussion about the teams doing a kind of a run what you brung type of race there, but then the teams want to do it, and NASCAR gave them that option, but the teams didn't want to do it, and it seems like maybe one of the reasons why is that they are given such short notice for it that it would be hard to have all the right parts for that, come up with new designs, et cetera, to be able to truly go through with that. So and it seems like Denny's kind of alluding to that. He talk more about it on his podcast on Monday. So that's definitely something to consider there. Short time to do that. You don't really have a lot of time to really innovate, come up with something that would break the rule book and in normal. So if they can't do that, then I guess it wouldn't really be worth it. And then I guess the other reason, the official reason, is because they didn't want to do have an arms race, because they come up with something and then change the whole direction of development in the sport, and then that's what it ends up being. So I don't know. I guess that's one thing to consider there. And then honestly, I have no idea what the gimmick. I mean, I saw the thing and heard what you said, and I guess the one thing is the whole promoters I guess discretion of having a caution, which that's kind of funny there, whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's almost like in SRX whenever they'd throw out the fun flag there. So whatever. And then of course, championship weekend back in Homestead. I mean, nobody's surprised by that. And that means that probably Homestead's going to get some upgrades here to get it onto the level of Phoenix here pretty soon, would expect. And everything looks like that's on the table for that. So hopefully hopefully be able to, being in Florida, maybe make the trip down there, and I guess early November, be around time of my birthday. So that might be kind of cool to go do that. So glad it's back in Florida and actually have a entertaining championship race for once, and hopefully the racing stays the same at Homestead, so you can get that exciting finish there at the end, and hopefully NASCAR doesn't muck around and throw some late caution to ruin all, but they probably will. So glad that it's back in Homestead.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see it back there. It was where it should have been for many years. It had taken over as like Atlanta had been there for many years as that finale, and Homestead had seamlessly kind of transitioned in during the start of the Chase era, and done a great job. Ford had sponsored the weekend for a long time as well. Then ISC NASCAR started messing around with the dates and this, that, and the other, and messed with fan engagement. Now they're emphasizing that with all the moves and changes they're gonna make with that track, and hopefully it's a good opportunity there. We'll move on to the F1 Saudi Grand Prix. Took place this past weekend. The Lights Out and Away We Grow Grand Prix saw Oscar Piastri make a better start than Fish Lips. Fish Lips then did his usual, I'll run off the track and keep the lead, and F1, the stewards won't penalize me. He got a 5-second penalty when it should have been a 10-second penalty, since that's exactly what they gave to Liam Lawson. But in the end, Oscar Piastri ends up getting the victory, his third win of 2025, and in turn goes and takes the points lead in the Drivers' World Championship by 10 over his teammate Lando Norris, by 12 over Fish Lips. So that's the battle, is a 3-driver battle for the world championship, and McLaren is God knows how many freaking points, 77 points ahead of Mercedes, and 99 points ahead of Red Bull, and 110 over Ferrari, and that's 5 races into this season. So good luck, everybody. Piastri gets the win. The bigger story was Fishlip's typical driving standards, but he ended up having to give up that time, and that was really what was the hold up for him, because that and the fact that Piastri just was faster. Quick race. Leclerc third, Norris fourth, Russell and Antonelli fifth and sixth. Lewis Hamilton, after another difficult weekend, finished seventh. The Williams pair of Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon eighth and ninth, and then Isaac Hadjar rounding out the top 10. Fernando Alonso coming within 9 seconds of a point, his first point of 2025. So, you had DNFs, you had Gasly had issues early in the race, or Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda made contact. Tsunoda put a hole in the side pod of Gasly, and so that was, and Tsunoda had other issues with his car, and they both retired. That was the only 2 retirements in the race. Haas had a rough weekend. Then you had other cars that were lapped. So yeah, Piastri getting the win, taking the points lead. Big deal for them. Big deal for him in his goal to go and win the championship. Fishlip's being 12 points behind, though, is showing where those papaya rules are gonna probably rear their head at some point. It's too early in the season for them to get there, but there's gonna have to be a move eventually. I think something's gonna give between Piastri and Norris, and they're gonna take points off of each other, which might help Fishlip's continue his generally unearned run of championships, Josh. But in the grand scheme of things, typical Fishlip's behavior and actions to start the race. But Oscar Piastri went out and did the work that he's been doing for a good amount of this season, sans a few laps in Australia.
So, yeah, that was an interesting one there with Piastri and the first lap, because really the race was won on the first lap there with Verstappen ended up getting penalized there, and that's an interesting point of discussion because on one hand you have 2 cars that go into the first corner that they're going. It's like, oh well, if you're ahead, if you have the position at the apex, oh it's my corner. If you gotta have leverage there, I guess, somehow. But it's interesting how they judge that rule, because I feel like in other forms of racing, stock car racing, they're able to try to make it through the corner side by side. IndyCar, I feel like, is not quite like that. I don't think sports car racing is like, oh, I have the apex, that was my corner, you better back out of it and everything. And I guess, yeah, the penalty there was on Verstappen there, and I mean Verstappen's been guilty of that as well, but I just feel like that's an interesting rule to have. And definitely I saw one tweet and it's like, well, F1 should just treat it like stock car racing, how they go through a corner like that. But then I guess the other point of discussion there is that the cars, it's really hard to get through a corner like that side by side anyways, with the way that these cars are designed there. And with the length of the car getting longer and stuff, that definitely leads to only one car really being able to go there. and not two. So yeah, the race definitely decided on the first lap with how that went, and Verstappen taking a 5-second penalty, which then they didn't take it till the pit stop, and then with the 5 seconds being held there in the pits, that lets Piastri get away there. So yeah, once that happened, game over there for Verstappen. So yeah, it's with Piastri now getting another win. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I've been talking about it that he could be the guy at the end of the year that wins the championship, and yeah, that's probably gonna happen. I'd assume so. Um, I'm not surprised by any of that. There, of course, on the other hand, Lando, teammate there couldn't get up to third there. Couple or second behind Leclerc there, so Leclerc able to get onto the podium this time. So not quite on the podium for Lando, and now standings Piastri now ahead by 10 points there. So yeah, as long as Piastri continues to get on the streak, yeah, he should be odds-on favorite to win the championship here. So yeah, it'd be interesting seeing an Australian back on the title there, and good to see a McLaren there on the title there for Victory Lane. So yeah, it's definitely interesting there. Of course, other things that happened with that race, Tsunoda got into it. Liam Lawson had an incident there. Gasly crashed there on the first lap. So yeah, I mean, still looking like Max is getting what he can from the Red Bull, and could have won the race if that weren't for that penalty there. But yeah, so that's, I guess, that's how it went this weekend at Saudi Arabia. And yeah, I guess we move on and go to Miami next, which that's in 2 weekends now. So already getting to that part of the season.
Moving into the heart of the season after a week off here for Formula One. Plenty of time to go, but that championship's going to be intriguing. The top three, and also looking at what Ferrari's able to do and Mercedes, if they're able to make it interesting. Because otherwise it could become pretty lack of drama as we go along. So you mentioned the points there earlier. So the sim racing enduro, I was just looking for if I could go and make paint scheme changes on ACC, since we'll be driving in a GT3 league here in a couple of weeks' time. But in the GT3 race, we had the enduro last week at a Catalunya, drove in a Ferrari 488 with one of the guys that works at Apex, Nunzio's driver. He's a pretty solid, or really solid sim racer, going and running Lemons, 24 Hours of Lemons. So he's got racing real world experience, but also a lot of time in the sim. Qualified the car, started the race on pole, and was in a good battle with one of the other pros that was starting the race. But that pro did not set the fuel for race fuel. He'd only set the fuel for qualifying and kept it at the qualifying level, and ran out of gas before the pit window opened. So that basically ruined his race. After that, there was really nobody in the general vicinity of the cars or the drivers. That I think there's one other pro, Peter Bravo, of course, Peter Z, Peter Bravo, Tuna No Crust. started the race driving an Acura. They were a little slower, the Acura NSX, Honda NSX, whatever. So that probably didn't help his cause, but he ran strong first stint. After those cars, I think a vast majority of the other cars in the field were run by the AM driver to start the race. And to me, after the first race went on and we saw what Peter was able to do, and then James Job were able to do, I figured all the pros would start the race and then they would let the AMs go and see who doesn't die. So the pressure, basically what ended up happening is Nuns got in the car, was able to drive for about an hour and a half straight because he did the first hour of the race, or thereabouts, whatever, 45, 50, like 50 minutes of the race, and then I did the last 40 in the car during the pit stop, and it was just basically I was in my own world. Just had to put down laps, had to pass a few people. There was one car that was a dart without feathers, like David Reagan at Martinsville all those years ago. Would crash everywhere. Was in the way. There's two of them that were like that, so I had to dodge them a couple of times. Passed on the racetrack and lapped a car, so put the whole field a lap down. So I was able to pass a couple of people, but generally it was just keep the thing straight. Had a couple of moments, but in the end, along with Nuns, I'm the owner of a Apex One checkered flag hat. I'll bring that. I should have prepared that.
Right.
Yeah, so. I wanted a hat, and I was looking at how many points I'd earned through the little points deal they have at the place, but I don't know how it's earned or how many points you get. But I have this free promotion.
Nice.
You're welcome, Seamus and Julie. I've wanted a hat from there, but this hat has this on the back, which means I'm an endurance race winner, or I've won in a league. So there's very few of us that have them so far. So it's exclusive for now. As this place grows, I think it won't be as exclusive, but early days, having one of these is really, really cool. And for where I was at the start of the iRacing league, that sim league, driving that BMW M2, and to be where I was at in a position to win the race is huge. I'm grateful to all the guys that are pro guys that, been able to meet there, share time, drive with them, going and getting time in the sim. It's been a blast. So I love it. I get why you are into it as much as you are, Josh, and you're so good at it. It gives you even more respect for how good you are. I didn't need to have more respect. The stuff that you have done has been really badass, but stuff that I wouldn't have the balls to do. But the fact of the matter is, it's so fun. And I just want to keep on getting better at it. There's a hot lap challenge going on. The original hot lap challenge they had at the place, which is a Porsche GT3 Cup car at Red Fool Ring, and I was able to run yesterday and get, at least for now, in the top 5. I know that won't last, but was within under 3 seconds of the noted one of the fastest, if not the fastest guy that drives there. So the fact that I was within 3 seconds of that usually is the pace. I think that's the pace difference. But I was making gains. I was gaining lap time every lap. That's just how it is for me. It's seat time, right? So
Exactly.
we'll take it. And getting a win is huge. There's going to be a GT3 league on ACC starting soon, so I've signed up for that. So looking forward to that. All the tracks are European tracks, so we'll run Monza, Silverstone, and Spa. Those 3 tracks are great. The other 3 tracks, I think, Zolder, Red Fool Ring, and I forget what that's on the general page. The Zolder, Red Fool Ring, and Nürburgring GP, which I don't mind the Nürburgring GP circuit. The Zolder and not Red Fool Ring, is Zandvoort, which is Red Fool Ring because that's Fish Lips track. I don't think that track is neither of those tracks are great, but the other 4 I like. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see who I have to race against. Hope for the best, do what we can. Finish 4th in points in the other league against 3 guys that were really good. Pretty damn good. Considered 2 of them were considered AMs in that race with me last week, so we'll see what happens as we go on. I'll talk about it there. We'll get into the NFL draft, Josh. You have a higher position in the draft with your Jaguars. Liam Cohen's first year on the job, new GM, a lot of changes there. What are you seeing and what are you thinking the pick will be? There was a time that I think Travis Hunter might have been in play for you guys. Maybe he still is in play, the Heisman Trophy winner. But could it be someone else? Could it be an offensive lineman? Could it be a defensive lineman? You've gotten a lot of defensive linemen and defensive players in recent years. But after the Brian Thomas Jr. pick last year, which was definitely a success, do you add on? Do you go get crazy and take one of my favorite players in college football in recent years, Ashton Jeanty, the Boise State running back, take it, harken back to the days of Natron Means or Fred Taylor or
Maurice
Jones-Drew. Jacksonville was known for having great running backs. Could this be the opportunity to get a game-breaking running back in Jacksonville colors once again? Help Trevor Lawrence try to stay alive and not do stupid stuff. What are your feeling? What are you seeing out there for your Jaguars?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think for me, the Jags are a wild card. That's the only way you can put it. And the any direction that they could go in, they could trade up, they could trade down, they could stay in their position. I don't know what's going to happen. So I think they're the one true wild card, because they have completely new management coaching in. So James Gladstone really keeping things close to the vest and not, letting the media get a hold of any narrative. And they're really the ones that are driving the narratives out there right now. So yeah, we'll see. And as far as who they take, they might take Ashton Jeanty. They may not, which would be funny because Ashton Jeanty is a Jacksonville, at least born person. So I don't know if he lived in Jacksonville or what, but he is born in Jacksonville. So that would be pretty neat if they did pick him. They could get Travis Hunter, which that would be good because they need juice on defense. They need somebody like that. Or they could protect Trevor Lawrence, get an offensive lineman, or defensive lineman, because the defensive line definitely needs some help as well. Or they could get what's his name, Tate McMillan from Arizona there. So yeah, definitely could be part of that. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, it's the first time in a while that really don't know, and it really depends on how the first couple of picks go. Because if they go quarterbacks the first couple of picks, that means that the pick 3 is open, and that they'll definitely have their opportunity to be closer to the top of the rest of the draft beyond the quarterbacks. So hard to believe if Ashton, or not Ashton, but Shadur Sanders goes top 5 or top 3. Cam Ward is rumored to go number 1, but I don't think that will happen. But we'll just have to wait and see there. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, and yeah, can't wait. Tomorrow, I'm sure we'll be talking about it, and can't wait to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, and I think Cam Ward, a lot of people, it seems like, have gone down there, and that's big up for your division. The Tennessee Tuxedos have sucked for a long time, on and off. Haven't had a quarterback. They've had different quarterbacks over the years, but I think they brought up I forget who was saying it, that they haven't really had a franchise guy since Steve McNair, the late Steve McNair. And I remember when he got drafted in 1995 from Alcorn State. And back in those days, I mean, he was on the bench for a good amount of that 95 season, took over, and then was the guy for I don't know how many years there. And that was really the last guy. They had Vince Young for a minute. They had Marcus Mariota for a minute. There's been a bunch of other ones. Can Cam Ward solve that problem that they've had at the quarterback position? I think that's the yeah, so I mean, I'm doing some simulators and stuff because it's interesting, but for me with the 49ers, there's a lot of changes, a lot of defensive moves. The 49ers have lost a lot of players on defense. A lot of attention is on the offense, largely because of the extension possibilities for Brock Purdy, and then George Kittle. For as great as he is, he's my favorite player. Notwithstanding, he is the best tight end in the NFL. He actually is a tight end, unlike Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Unlike some of these other guys, he is the best tight end in the NFL, and he's played a lot these last few years. It used to be an issue. He's been better that way. I mean, he does take a lot of contact and does get nicked up a lot, but he is an ultimate team player, and he's one of the leaders of this team. Pay that man his money. Pay him $20 million a year. He deserves it. And so based on, everyone's talking about the offense, but I think 49ers are going to go defense for sure here. I picked the Tennessee edge player. So I that's who I picked in the 1. Wow, this is a weird one. There's also, you got offensive line, Kelvin Banks, you have McKill Williams, Georgia, Will Johnson, a corner from Michigan, Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M, Mike Green, the edge from Marshall. I don't know where that Tennessee, I guess the Tennessee guy went, or is that James Pierce Jr.? So yeah, that's who so based on the one that I simulation, I picked that. I'm going to go Mike Green with this one and go with that. Yeah, so I mean, I think edge to go and help Magaboy on the other side, I think is where no, that's not what I wanted to do. But I think that's where the Niners go. They're gonna, if they're smart, they go and focus on the interior on both sides and make the most out of their opportunity. They have a lot of picks. They need to get difference makers here in this draft. Period. End of story. If they don't, it's going to be hard for them to compete. Philly's way too good. Washington is on the upswing. You have Detroit. We'll see what with the changes they have to make in the coaching staff, what will happen. Green Bay isn't going away. Minnesota, interesting with the quarterback situation there. Chicago has coaching changes as well, too. So that division's kind of in flux. The NFC West has a little more stability coming into this year, but Seattle's made changes. LA is definitely the best team in the division. I think it's the Niners and Seattle kind of are there together, and then Arizona. I mean, they have McBride and some other players, but it's Arizona. The South, I think Atlanta is going to be really tough with Michael Penix. I also look at, Carolina with some of the opportunities they have there to grow. Second year with Canales, and Bryce Young looking like a guy now that can play. That division is intriguing. Tampa Bay, of course, has won it for the last few years. Baker Mayfield, a lot of veteran players, so they're probably the team to beat there. But I think Atlanta's going to be on the upswing. New Orleans sucks. They're dead to rights. Who cares? Yeah. So right now, I mean, it's the Niners have an opportunity, even with what little they have right now on the roster. If they can hit on this draft and get a lot of players like LA did last year, they can be someone that makes the playoffs. They're not going to beat Philly. I have a hard time believing they can stop Philly. They're the champs. They have a terrible head coach, but they're the champs. It's going to be difficult. Washington's also very good and well coached. And so that's part of what's going on there, and they have a great quarterback. So Niners have an opportunity if they can hit the draft to do something, but we will see what comes of that accordingly. And we'll talk about it next week. All right, so let's get into the roundup. I'll try to make this as quick as I can. World Endurance Championship was at Imola for whatever reason instead of Monza. It would be a better race if it was at Monza. The World Endurance Championship saw the Ferraris continue their strong start to the season. The Ferrari standings. So Forza Ferrari, yeah. So the 6 Hours of Imola, the 51, Antonio Giovinazzi, James Collado, and Alexander Perguidi, the drivers that won the 24 Hours of Le Mans a couple of years ago, get the win in the hypercar category. I'm looking for the damn results. Why can't I get the results? Can they just give me? Yeah, there you go. 6 Hours of Imola. Valentino Rossi had qualified on pole in LMGT3, but was denied at home. The Ferrari General, yeah, so manufacturers and general classification. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, so the AF Corsa Ferrari number 51 finished first by 8.49 seconds over the BMW WRT number 20. The Alpine number 36 was third. The AF Corsa, the privateer, not the factory car, but the private car, was fourth. The Toyota number 8 was fifth. The best Porsche, defending champions number 6, was 8th. The best of the Cadillac team was 10th. The number 12 Jota Sport car there. The Astons were rounded up the rear. The 50 Ferrari was back there along with the other Cadillac. Porsche spread through the field from 8th on, 8th, 11th, and 14th on the grid there. Peugeot having not such a great week. The BMW team getting 2 cars in the top 6. Toyota's 5th and 7th. So see what happens as they move on to Spa for 6 hours of Spa. In the LMGT3, the Manthey number 92, Ryan Hardwick, that group gets the win over the number 46 BMW with Valentino Rossi. And then the Akotis ASP Lexus team finished 3rd and 4th. And be nice if you could get the full breakdown. But general for the world for the Manufacturers Championship, Ferrari, of course, leads over BMW, Toyota. Then that's the battle there for the World Cup for hypercars. Yeah, it's AF Corsa Ferrari by 18 points over the Proton number 99 Porsche. World Endurance Drivers Championship, the 51 team has a 11-point lead over the privateer and teammates. Phil Hansen, Robert Kubica, and Ye Yafei. Their teammates, Antonio Fuoco, Miguel Molina, Nicholas Nielsen. Actually, they were the ones that won. What am I saying? They were the ones that won Le Mans a couple of years ago. They didn't get any points, but they're third. They won Bahrain to start, or Qatar to start the year. So they didn't get any points, but they're only 12 points back. Heading into the crucial stretch of Spa and then Le Mans. The BMWs, the 20 and the 15 are next, and the Toyotas. In the GT3, the TF Sport Chevy leads the points there by 11 over the Akotis Lexus. The United Autosports team, after a great run at Qatar, they won that race. They're third. The Manthey 92 is fourth. The WRT BMWs are 5th and 6th. The AF Corsa Ferraris are 7th and 8th. First Aston, they're in 10th. Iron Dames are in 13th. The drivers, Ben Keating, Daniel Juncadella, Johnny Edgar, go and lead over that 78 Lexus. Then the McLaren third, Ryan Hardwick, Richard Leitz, Ricardo Pera, the winners last week. Valentino Rossi, Ahmad Al-Harthi, Kelvin Vanderlinde finished second at Imola. So we'll go, and their next race, of course, as I mentioned multiple times, will be at Spa. The F1 or the F2 was at Jeddah. The race results there. The races, the Arvid Lindblad won the sprint race, and Richard Vachor won the feature. We'll go through the sprint results. Arvid Lindblad, Pepe Marti, Dunn, Vachor, Stanek, Mini, Fornaroli, Martans, Browning, Kushmini, rounding out your top 10, but I think the top 8 get points in the sprint. Sebastian Montoya was 13th. Bogdanovic was 15th. Max Easterston 18th. Miata 19th. Bennett 20th. Then in the feature race, Richard Vachor by 1.7 seconds over Jack Crawford. Victor Martins rounds out the podium. Fornaroli, Marti, Browning, Lindblad, Dunn, Mini, Kushmini getting double points result. Easterson was 18th in that race. The standings heading into Imola, Richard Vachor has a 12-point lead on Pepe Marti. Luca Fornaroli is third, 13 points back. Alex Dunn has scored points in the last 3 races. Luke Browning is 5th. Jack Crawford gets his first points of the season in that feature race. Montoya is up there in 14th. Kushmini in 16th. There's 6 drivers that have not scored points so far. Bennett, Bennett, Easterson, there's a Miata, Cordial, Megatuna, Shields, Bennett, and Easterson have not scored points as of yet this season. Very early days here. There's a good run of races, 3 races in a row coming up: Imola, Monte Carlo, and Barcelona, before they have that little summer stretch, which kind of is the quiet early summer. Then they're going to run Spa and Budapest before they end their season in Monza. F1 Academy raced in Saudi this past weekend as well. The results this past weekend saw Ella Lloyd get the win in the race 1, and then in race 2, Maya Woog, the Ferrari supported driver there. Chloe Chambers qualified on pole, so the American driver there did well. In race 1, Ella Lloyd over Woog, Palmowski, your podium. Dorian Pan was 4th. Chloe Chambers ended up 7th after a penalty. Nobles, I think, is one. Yeah, Leah Block was 12th there. So in race 1, in race 2, Woog over Chloe Chambers, Dorian Pan rounding out your podium. Palmowski's 4th. Lloyd ended up 8th in that race. Chloe Chong was 10th. Courtney Crone was 12th, and Leah Block was 14th. So rough weekend for a couple of the Americans there. The standings heading into the next race will be Miami. Woog has a 7-point lead on Dorian Pan. Chloe Chambers is 12 points back in third. Then Ella Lloyd, with her sprint race win, gets herself up to 6th. Leah Block right now is 11th in points. 5 drivers. 2 of them, so of the regulars, Nobles, Crone, and Havdra are the only ones that have not scored points heading into Miami. So we'll see what happens with that. World Rally will be racing World Rally Championship. We'll be racing in the Canary Islands for the East Rally Islas Canarias. So Gran Canaria, Spanish Isles. So it'll be a pavement rally. So we'll see how that is. That's probably a good opportunity for Ogier if he's running this race. I'm not really sure if he is or not. So we'll see. Rallies, Canaras, entry list. So yeah, Efren Evans. You have Thierry Neuville, the defending world champion. Autanek. Ogier is running it, so I would say he's a favorite. Formo, Hyundai, Kali Rovanpera, Katsuda, Sami Pajari, Gregoire Munster, and then Josh McElrain. Those are the 10 Rally 1 cars. I would say Oliver Solberg is a favorite in Rally 2 due to his experience and deep Rally 2 field. Goes all the way down here, yeah. Oh, wow, and actually an American is in this, Filippo Marchino, driving a Citroen. Interesting. We'll go and look that up next week, see what happens with that. The MotoGP and Moto2 are at Jerez this coming weekend. It's been a lot of Marc Marquez so far this year in MotoGP. So the Spanish Grand Prix this weekend, home race for the brothers Marquez. The Marc Marquez, I'm trying to look for what am I? Yeah, there you go. Standings. Marc Marquez has a 17-point lead on his brother Alex. Pecco Bagnaia is minus 26. Franco Morbidelli, Fabio Di Gianantonio. Round out your top 5. Huge gaps between third and fourth, and then fourth to fifth. It's only 9 points between Alex Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia. Sarko, Bezzecchi, Quartararo, Ayagura, the rookie, Luca Marini, your top 10. In Moto2, Aaron Canet, 10-point lead over Gonzalez. Jake Dixon, go through, Ramirez is 5th, while Joe Roberts has struggled so far this year, is 25th in points with 1 point. So terrible start to the year for him. Hopefully he can make some gains here. And then NHRA will be 4 wide. Can Tony Stewart go back out there and get a second win in a row? Jasmine Salinas will not be at this race and won't be at the next few races due to sponsorship issues, so she'll miss Charlotte, Chicago, and New Hampshire. Todd Payton, oh wow. Chance for more history, Dylan Mountain Mortar, Pro Stock, yeah. Gadsden, so yeah, they're gonna have Pro Stock motorcycles back this weekend. His daughter Maddie's been Ron Cat. Vuitton will return to the wheel of the family's beta motorcycles. Oh, look at that. Doug Gordon will be back. All right. Yeah, because Maddie Gordon's going to race for Ron Caps. Yeah, so that's the NHRA right now. Tony Stewart is second in top field points, 16 points behind Sean Langdon. Antron Brown's minus 20 in third. Doug Coletta, Jasmine Salinas, Brittany Force are the ones under 100 points back. In funny car, Paul Lee has a 16-point lead on Jack Beckman. Austin Brock, minus 21. Matt Hagan, minus 44. Chad Green, minus 88. Greg Anderson has a 4-point lead on Dallas Glenn in Pro Stock. And then I think they've only raced once or maybe twice. Gage Herrera, 21-point lead on Matt Smith. And then, yeah, so I think they only raced at Gainesville. Alrighty then. Went through all of that. Let's preview Talladega, Josh. Here, go through the Ag Pro 300 at Talladega. There's 41 for 38. You're going to have you have Mason Maggio randomly showing up for in the 66. You have Leland Honeyman. I think they have points. I don't know. Austin Green running a extra Jordan Anderson vehicle along with Catherine Legg. Jake Garcia trying to make his Xfinity debut for RSS Racing. You mentioned Jesse Uji, who I think has points and is part owner of the team, but he sucks. Joey Gase running this race for his own team. Greg Van Alts, who's been running the majority of the year in the 35. Yeah, nobody else. Everything else is pretty much the usual. Eric will be the 19 car, and Jeffrey Earnhardt will be in the 24. So, those are some of the changes there. In terms of who went for picks last week, Josh, you went first, and I'll let you go first here for your picks, regular picks, and then I'll go, and then we'll do the algorithm.
Okay, yeah. I think for me here, I'll pick the King of the Hill and Austin Hill. Go out here, win the race here at Talladega. What else could you expect here for him to, go out here and win? So, I'll pick him to win, and then wild card. Man, it's tough. Pick Jeffrey Earnhardt as a wild card.
I was gonna pick him if you hadn't picked him. That was the one that kind of stood out to me because he has the experience at Talladega and was running up front in that 3 car a few years ago. I have that diecast upstairs. I'm gonna go with. I'll keep it simple. I'll go with Jesse Love. He won this race last year. Go and win. Say he'll win this one again. Jesse Love, staying in that RCR fold. In terms of a wild card selection, I am going to go with there's 25, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, I didn't say anybody after 14th. So I will go with. I'll make it an actual wild card, and I'll go with Nick Sanchez, because that team also gets RCR help. So, and he's a fast driver. So Jesse Love to win and Nick Sanchez wild card. And then the Tate Fogelman algorithm
says that Dean Thompson, the 26.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Wow.
We might have to start hyphenating this. If it gets it right, we'll get like the Thompson, Fogelman.
Yeah. The Thompson Fogelman algorithm. Yeah. We're going to end up having to name it they're going to end if it happens, because if Dean Thompson wins, Christ. I'm curious, are you able to run something for Cletus, or?
I need the entry list for ARCA.
Okay. Yeah. So I will start with the Cup Series at Talladega. I'll type that in there. We'll go over the list while Josh tries to find an ARCA entry list. The Jack Links 500, 39 for 40, so nobody's going home. The only difference is from the usual is JJ Yaley driving the NY44, Anthony Alfredo in the 62 for Beard, and then BJ McLeod for Live Fast. We'll have sponsors jockey on the 1 for Chastain Menards, Quaker State for Gumby, Bass Pro Winchester, yeah, so that's no different. I don't know what Rural King is for Gagson. Build Submarines for Brad. Nico Kick for Kyle Busch, whatever that is. Amazon Prime Video for Clyde. See Best for Ty Dillon. Progressive Denny. Advance for Blaney. Grizzly Nicotine Pouches for AJ Allmendinger. Travel Centers of America for Christopher Busher. Sport Clips for Christopher Bell. Lidos for Bubba. Valvoline for Byron. Title Max for Zane Smith. Andy's Frozen Custard and Haas Automation for Cole Custard. Jack Links for John Hunter. Massey Motor Freight for Eric Jones. Xfinity Mobile for Tyler Reddick. NOS Energy for Richard. Ally, Arby's and AC Barbecue Sauce for Cody Ware. SAIA LTL Freight for Keebler Gibbs. Celsius and Kroger for Priest. Fortify Building Solutions for Anthony Alfredo. Gunk for Michael McDowell. Chili's Ride the Dente for Hocevar. Pigeon Forge Racing Coaster for BJ McLeod. Safety Culture for SVG. And Wendy's Frosty for Nacho Libre. My pick to win will be Ryan Blaney. He's just really good at Talladega. My wild card selection will be. Yeah, this is the wild card is more difficult because of certain things. I have to see. I always have to go points and just kind of see who's how many because everybody is run line races. So basically, so that's it has to be anybody. Oh damn, that would have been perfect. You know what? That worked out. Even though I wanted to pick O. Richard, I'll pick Michael McDowell. So, so I said Ryan Blaney to win. And Michael McDowell wild card. Josh, you get the floor here for a bit as you lead into your sim segment. What are your picks?
I'm gonna go. Well, if you're gonna go Ryan Blaney, I'm gonna go Bubba Wallace, his best friend. There, win Talladega. Their first win since 2022, if it indeed happens. And then wild card. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one there. Um, uh, I will go with. Yeah, this is tough. Go with Riley Herbst. He was running. He was in the running at the Daytona 500 up front and spawned on the final, coming to the final lap there. So yeah, we'll stick with 2:23:11 cars and go with Riley as the wild card there. So get this. Just give me a second because I gotta grab the numbers for the wild card, but
Yep.
should be well. Actually, in the meantime, because I did pull up the ARCA, we can. Well, yeah. Okay, there are no duplicates. Okay. Well, the wild card or it is a wild card anyways, but the algorithm says BJ McLeod is gonna win. So
Oh,
oh man. We're gonna have like a bunch of hyphens here. I'm telling you, man. Um uh this is gonna sound like a whole ass theory here or something. But you got that. And then
you might get employed by the government if both of those come off.
yeah. Oh my lord. Yeah. Might.
And then I'm going to put Cletus
Yeah.
McFarland.
What? No. Oh. What's it say? Oh man. Oh man. It says this is out of the water. Brayton Laster. Brayton Laster,
Oh.
the one pizza man, Brayton Laster is the wild card.
So Brayton Laster got the algorithm. Tate Fogel, an algorithm for ARCA is Brayton Laster. And are you able to do anything to like get a finish position for
Him or for
Cletus?
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't get that.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll talk about it though, because obviously he's
in it. I mean, he could get top 10. I mean, he was there. He got wrecked, but I mean, Dale Jr. gave him some pointers there, and then what was it? On iRacing, I think he ran up front there. I think he might have won his iRacing event with Carson Hocevar. So he got some help there. So we'll see how he goes.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, Josh, now it's your time to talk about iRacing in the sim segment.
I feel like, sim segment was really you there with, your win at Apex. I mean, hey, at least one of us won. But, nah, I mean, iRacing this week, got, Talladega should be there. Schedule. I must not have. Hold on a minute. Is this right? Should be all Talladega week because now it's saying like Las Vegas Motor Speedway is the next race for NASCAR. That can't be right. That cannot be right. It must have not been updated, but I'm pretty sure, this week for iRacing is um Talladega for NASCAR and or for Cup and Xfinity. Let me look at that because I might have had to update my iRacing app here, but I can look at it on my phone here. NASCAR, yeah, Class A at Talladega. Um, NASCAR Xfinity at Talladega. Uh, I mean, everybody should be at Talladega. I mean, but ARCA's at Langley. You got that there. The Truck Series is at Dover because they're not actually racing this week. The ARCA, or not the ARCA, but the Gen 4 is at Auto Club this week. You've got the Draftmaster at Talladega this week. Xfinity at Talladega this week. Indy Oval fixed at Old Phoenix before the repave. Let's see. 87's at Atlanta here. Yeah, that's on the oval side. So oval fixed at Phoenix there. Got, let's see, sports cars here. Got Mid Ohio for Ferrari GT3. Imola for Toyota GR86. You got GT4 at Spa this week. BMW at Lebanon. Hate that track. Ferrari GT3, already mentioned that. Mid Ohio. iRacing. Yeah, IMSA iRacing Series at Watkins Glen this week. IMSA Vintage Series at Road America. I think the Road America 500 is coming up this weekend. Yes, that is true. Production Car Challenge at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And then in the Formula C Series, got Fuji International Speedway. Got the Formula 1600 Series at Lebanon. Formula 16 at Lebanon. Formula V is also at Circuit de Lebanon. Formula 4 at Portland for the America series. Yeah, and then as far as news goes, let's see, pull that up here. Sim racing news happening in iRacing this week. Road America 500. That's coming up with the Nissan GTP ZXT or the Audi 90 Quattro GTO from April 25th through 27th. Got the Prodigy Racing League, Radical SR8 coming up, NASCAR iRacing Series. That's at, well, the Prodigy Series is at Virginia International Raceway. NASCAR iRacing Series, that's going to be same at Talladega. Dirt Late Model Super Tour at Port Royal. Got the Vintage Grand Prix Tour, new series Lotus 79 to resemble the 1978 World Drivers' Championship taking place at Juan Carlos Pace. Formula 4, Rainmaster. Let's see what else. Yeah, next special event, May 6th through 19th, the iRacing Indy 500. iRacing Season 2, Week 8 fixed setup, and Week 9 open setup. So, yeah, fixed Indy 500 is the first weekend, and I think the open one is the 19th. So, gotta look into that, make sure, because I've got to look at that for me, because the first one, I think I can do both of the weekends, but I got to make sure I'm free for the first one because I might be busy with stuff. So I'm going to a wedding, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'll be prepping for that hopefully soon here, and everything. So got that going on. Haven't heard anything yet about the new NASCAR 25. I'm sure we'll hear more later on. So yeah, that's really what's on the table is the iRacing Indy 500, and really the Indy 500 itself is on the table. So, well, I mean, because that's at the end of the month, and that'll be where everybody's attention is, especially with testing happening today for IndyCar and everybody. So, yeah, we'll see how well that goes. But yeah, for me, I mean, if I stream, I mean, I might do some Gran Turismo, honestly, too, just for fun. But stream at uh, uh, Twitch TV/UCLR2, and then of course Twitter at JP Huffine talking about the draft there, and of course YouTube page at Gripster Podcast. Go on there, follow our streams on there. So yeah, should be fun going to Talladega this weekend and seeing all that happen, playing out, and look forward to the Cletus McFarlane YouTube channel going out there and seeing how that they can do, and Dale Jr.'s advice plays out for him there, and looking forward to that. And told all my friends that are into Cletus, because I got some friends that aren't really NASCAR fans, but they're into Cletus, and I said, well, he's running NASCAR now, so let's see how that happens. So yeah, looking forward to seeing Cletus out there on the track, and hopefully gets a good finish there, and able to do better than he was last time, and get to the finish.
Yeah, I hope so too. It'll be good. It'll be one of the only worthwhile things to watch in the race, because I don't think there's a whole lot out there outside of that. You can find me on YouTube, GSP1428, of course, the Gripster Podcast page that Josh manages with the video feed so well. You can find our podcast at philipgmatthew.com, along with on Podbean. My Instagram and Blue Sky, PGMGSP28, and then PGMatthew28 on Twitter, along with the Gripster Podcast Twitter feed. You can thank you as always to my co-host and good buddy Josh for his hard work and insights here on the show. We will be back next week with episode 266 of the GSP, going over everything that happened in Talladega. You're going to have, I think your Indy cars are at Baba. You'll have Miami for Formula One. So there'll be stuff. We'll also talk about the NFL draft and see what happened with that, and what our teams do. And anything else that goes on in the world of motorsports, we'll talk about next week on the GSP. So for Josh, I'm Phil, and we'll see you next time.